for the hand hearts, honey. I appreciate that. And thank you for the heart me, Charlotte. So I want to talk about today. Hopefully, I will be a little bit better when yeehaw. Thank you so much for the necklace, Maggie. And honey, thank you for the cowboy hat. Appreciate that. So we're going to get into today a lot of myths surrounding what is good schmecks. Thank you, Maggie, for the roses. I appreciate you. And again, why people avoid it altogether, because it can be, obviously I discuss intimacy all, thank you for the TikToks, Maggie, all day, every day. But I think these topics are important because they really address some potential insecurities people have, some questions that they perhaps have. Thank you for the donuts, Maggie. I appreciate you. And yeah, we're going to get into it and try to dispel some myths. Thank you for the finger hearts, Maggie. Appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, because here's the thing, most people don't have a schmecks problem. And the reason I have to say it like that is because it's TikTok language and I don't want to get booted. Most people don't have a schmecks problem. They have a belief problem about what schmecks is supposed to be. A couple weeks ago, we did a live on expectations. This very much plays into that whole aspect too, because thank you, Maggie, for the perfumes. Expectations set us up for failure in our relationships. They set us up for disappointment. They set us up for a lot of things that are avoidable. And if we are a little bit more educated on all things expectations and really have those conversations with our partners, it's kind of a proactive piece of the puzzle in effective communication and increasing. Thank you so much for that heart me. Linda, thank you for the heart me. Appreciate you. Molly, thank you for the heart me. So I want to reiterate, a lot of times when people come to me, they say, Shauna, I'm broken. And I really want to make sure that I get it across. Thank you for all the shares, Maggie. And thank you, Molly, for all the populars. You're not broken. Logistically speaking, you are not broken unless you have a fractured femur or a broken bone or something like that. You are not broken. And when we tell ourselves that we are broken, our body very much keeps a score. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but it's a fantastic book if you're ever interested in how our brains impact our body and how certain things that happen to us, whether that be trauma, whether that be loss, whether that be whatever it is that you experience. Mama Cat, how are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. So what we tell our brain, what we believe impacts our cellular function to its core. Thank you for the heart me, Mama Cat. So when people tell me I'm broken, I often put a pause on that and have a conversation, because it's really important what we do believe. And I think, as a lot of you have heard me say before, the education that we receive on our bodies, the education that we receive about being intimate and having a schmexual relationship with somebody has done us all a big disservice, because there wasn't enough information. There wasn't enough acceptance and encouragement of exploration. And thank you, Sergeant Jim, for the follow. And Nerdy, thank you for the follow. How are you? So I just want to say, you're not broken. You perhaps might need to uplevel your skills. You might need to increase your education and your understanding about how your body works, smexually and non-smexually. Because when we don't understand our bodies, it is really hard to help our partners understand our bodies if we don't know. So desire isn't random. Avoidance is basically, when I have couples that come to me that are avoiding intimacy and they can't quite get to the bottom of it and it's frustrating or whatever it may be, I like to encourage them to think about it as information. Like, feelings are information. They're not right. They're not wrong. Potentially they're not facts, but they are information that your body is telling you. And so it's important to listen. Hippie Gamma, how are you? Thank you for the heart me. Please get your heart me's in. Oh, Maggie, thank you so much for the Tom's hug. I'm sending one right back to you, Maggie. And thank you so much, sweet Melissa, for the heart me. Look at all these heart me's coming in. I appreciate that because this gets us pushed out. And I think that there are so many myths, there's so many misinformations out there about schmecks and intimacy. And I love that. Oh, I'm happy that you're here, Sergeant Jim. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy to provide information and provide encouragement and provide just some, I guess, a space where we can chat and ask questions and not be judged, and there is not shame involved or guilt or whatever it may be that is coming up for you. So what I'm going to be covering, like I mentioned, if you just thank you for the follow, welcome to the fam. If you just joined us, the myths that are quietly and slowly negatively impacting schmeck's lives. I want to talk about what good schmecks actually is. I want to talk about why people start avoiding schmecks, and then it ends up being perhaps a schmecksless relationship. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that you love your partner any less. It's just, time passes and we don't consistently do the things that we perhaps need to be doing to maintain connection, and then we end up as roommates or in a position where we don't want to be. So I also want to talk about what to do about it if you find yourself in this position. SD, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fam. Thank you for the repost, everybody. Thank you for the tap taps. If you have not yet got your heart me, please do so, because I think these conversations are important, and it helps bring some normalcy to conversing about all things intimacy and all things schmecks. Thank you, Christy, for the follow. Welcome to the fam. And Alfredo, welcome to the fam. Here's myth number 1. Mustang, thank you for the follow. Oh, let me put it out there first. Does anyone care to share a myth, hi Sally, that they are aware of about schmecks or relationships in general? Does anyone have a myth out there that they would like to put in the chat? Anyone have any myths that they have perhaps found out more information of and they're like, dang, I wish I would have known that earlier? Any myths? Hey homie, how are you? Any myths that you want to share? Let's see if anyone's brave in the chat. Let's see if they have some courage to be in here. It's hard to talk about. I get it. I used to be 400 years ago somebody who never brought it up. It wasn't brought up in my family. It wasn't brought up in my relationships. Is it true? Doesn't stay as strong as you get older. Love this question, because erectile health is very dependent on how you maintain it. So we talk about erectile health here a lot. Males and females, we both have erectile tissue. So if you are not feeding your body nutritious sources that support erectile health, that could come to play. If you aren't using your erectile tissue, meaning if you're not getting busy, whether it be with a partner or by yourself, self-exploration, you don't use it, you lose it. So if that impacts schmectual health, for sure, that impacts the strength of your erectile tissue. So it all depends on how you take care of yourself. So homie, then I would suggest you look into ways that you can improve your erectile health. One of them, you can use me as a resource, because obviously I'm a clinical sexologist and I can help you with that. Erectile health is very dependent on your heart health. It's dependent on, let's just, I'm trying to be careful so I don't get restricted. There are blood vessels in your member below the waist. And if you don't utilize those, they begin to shorten over time. Same as nerve endings. Yes, you got to tell your wife. And you You don't necessarily need your wife the entire time either. Like I am a proponent of, because I know how erectile tissue works and I understand the ins and outs of sexual health. Self pleasure is important. Honey, thank you for that. Look at that little Easter dino. That's really cute. Blood flow, heart is equals heart health, right? We need blood flow for that erectile tissue to be engorged. Medication definitely plays a part. And Gina, I would really, really highly encourage anybody who goes in for a script, a prescription, please ask, how is this going to impact my sexual health? How will this impact my sexual response cycle? Because the majority of people don't ask. They go in with these symptoms. Thank you, Raphael, for the rose. They go in with these symptoms and they very much want these symptoms relieved. I get it. I 100% get it. But also, I want you to be aware that perhaps this prescription is going to impact other things in your life. Thank you very much, Raphael, for the heart me. So it's important to ask. Because all too often prescription medication, even some supplements, if you don't do your homework and you don't understand how they potentially could impact you, they make a difference in your sexual health. Medicine doesn't work on my husband. Jarena, I'm not really sure what medicine you're speaking of specifically. I'm not sure if you're talking about the little blue pill or whatever. That is the last form of defense that I recommend. There are 100 million other things that, bless you, that I go through with my clients that are having erectile issues, because the little blue pill, if that's what you're referring to, is a Band-Aid. We don't do Band-Aids here. We get to the root of the problem. Thank you, Mrs. How are you? Beach Gal, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fam. Fix your circulation, then you will fix your sexual dysfunction. Brie, oftentimes that is the case, yes, but there's other things that come into play and that are factors that impact your sexual health for sure. Okay, so myth number 1. Are you ready? Good schmecks should be, there's the should. I always talk about don't should on yourselves. Here's an area where people should on themselves. Good schmeck should be spontaneous. I think that spontaneity is amazing. I think that there's always a place for it, and it should be, there we go in the should department again. It can be very beneficial in maintaining a spark or helping to bring the life back in, breathe some life back into your schmeck's life. Here's the thing. Spontaneity is what we see basically in very early stages of relationship. It's typically not sustainable in reality. Long-term desire needs intentionality. Why does a man I met rather handle himself with pics than actually have schmecks? Well, I can't say specifically, but there are reasons for that. It could be that he lacks self-confidence. It could be that he does not have the education behind how to potentially speak with others in supporting their pleasure. It could be he has PE. It could be he has ED. It could be that there's so many different factors. It's nice to see you again, Mrs. Mizzou. There's so many different reasons. So I can't, without knowing this person, tell you specifically. People, a lot of men, many men, are very visual creatures. And when you are looking at a picture or corn, that takes out the other person from the equation. And sometimes there is a lack of confidence or a lack of, they don't know what to do. They perhaps find it very uncomfortable to talk to the other person about pleasure and about their schmeck's life, or they potentially might not think that they have the skills to bring upon that pleasure. So there's so many potential reasons. I'm not sure. Diana, thank you for popping in. Hello to you too. A lot of times it's confidence. And a lot of times there's so many of these myths swirling in people's minds, and they impact sexual response. You should not have to I love this, Brie, because I very much, with all due respect, disagree with you 100%. We schedule everything. We schedule doctor's appointments. We schedule the time we wake up, the time we go to bed. We schedule dinner. We are very scheduled people in our minds. I'm not saying that spontaneity isn't amazing. It totally is. Totally is. But having a balance of both is also pretty incredible. And why? Because you have an HDP and an LDP, a high desire partner and a low desire partner in every single relationship. And when you have this conversation with your partner and say, like, what would be a frequency that you would find that worked for you? How many times a week, a month would you think in our relationship? Like, what would you like? The conversation begins. Well, I'd like 5 times a month. Well, I'd kind of like twice a week. Okay, so then we talk about it. So for the LDP, the lower desire partner, planning it often helps them in the sexual response cycle. It helps them, oh, thank you, Miss Maggie. It helps them with desire, because they know that, I don't know, Wednesday night, it's one of our times that it's down, like we're down to get down. And so mentally they are able to prepare and sort of get in the mood and get that to-do list off of their brain, because the majority of you who have been here longer than 5 minutes know that your brain is your most powerful schmexual organ. What you tell it, what you believe, your attitudes, whatever it may be, that impacts desire, that impacts your sexual response cycle. Sexual response cycle is desire, arousal, the big O, your refractory period. And so when you have an LDP person that perhaps has a bit of anxiety, that perhaps is somebody that is in their mind so much, it helps them knowing, okay, Wednesday and Saturday are our days to get down. Or perhaps you have a planned Wednesday and then you leave the other one up to, okay, if we plan to have schmecks twice a week, let's do one planned and one spontaneous. I lost my mind there for a sec. And so that's a nice balance of both. When you say you should not have to plan, with the way life is right now, and careers, children, stress, finances, all the things, I highly encourage planning it, because if you don't, sometimes it doesn't happen. If you rest upon the, oh, we'll just make it happen 3 times a week, all too often that does not happen. And so when you have a planned, if you find yourself in a spot where, you know, I would just love to be more intimate with my partner more often, but like they're tired or things get in the way. Thank you, Miss Maggie, for the little dinosaur. Planning is not a bad thing. I'm not saying that you can't rely on it. I'm not saying that you have to say, well, we should only plan. No, like have a nice balance of both. Have a nice balance of both, because that very much helps the LDP, the lower desire partner, and the higher desire partner. Because the higher desire partner knows, okay, like we made a commitment to be between the sheets on Wednesday night. As the higher desire partner, you're like, yeah, I'm going to be connecting with my person. I'm going to be getting some. That's something to look forward to. So it kind of works for both partners. And again, spontaneity, nothing wrong with that. Our brains are very patterned. So anything that is novelty, no, thank you. I do not want to battle with you. Anything that is novelty helps in the sexual desire department. So spontaneity is, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but in order to support the LDP and the HDP, higher desire partner and the lower desire partner, it's always a good idea to have both in your little toolbox. Okay, let's find out what we can do here. Sorry, I just have to do what TikTok wants me to do here. Okay. Thank you, Maggie, for always reminding me. Handbook app, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. Good day. I'm really enjoying the topic. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. So again, plan schmecks equals prioritize connection. When you are intentional, and perhaps schedule one, you are prioritizing your connection. That's never a bad thing. Never a bad thing. Thank you for the roses. Thank you for the butterfly for you, honey. I appreciate that. Okay. I hope I didn't miss anything. I planned on Saturday, but then yard work got me exhausted. Okay, then if you know Saturday is your yard work day, Maggie, thank you very much for the butterfly for you. Then pick another day. Pick another day. I wish I had the desire, but I never do. Josie. Oh, Josie. So many things impact desire. Please don't shame yourself or feel guilty. We need to figure out what you need to do to support that, okay? It's not just the attraction for your partner. It's not that at all. It's the food you feed yourself. It's the sleep. It's the stress, perhaps the medication you might be using. It's exercise. There's so many things that impact desire and libido. And so when you are aware of these things, it's about hydration. It's about the connectivity that you have with your partner. So many things come into play here. And so the more we know about desire and libido, the better that our libido desire is, because we are supporting it. I wish I could get in the mood after 38 years together. Jarina, I hope I'm saying that right. I last time I said it, I wasn't sure if I said it correctly, but I hope I'm saying that right. You can. A lot of it is what's happening between the ears. And hormone balance comes to play. There's so many different things that impact libido. And so when we talk about libido, taking one small thing at a time and supporting that, like I've done lives before on what libido supporting foods are. Start there, go back and look at some of my videos, and we can talk about libido again for sure. I'm never at a loss of words when we talk about libido. There are libido supporting foods. Hydration, your body needs to be hydrated in order for natural lubrication to occur, in order for your cells to be working optimally, schmectually and non-schmectually. So it's important. Stress. Here's the thing about feeling pleasure. Your body is either in a state of rest and digest or fight or flight. That's your nervous system. Pleasure it falls into play there. When you are in your rest and digest part of your nervous, that's how your nervous system is at the moment, you are able to feel pleasure. The second your body goes into fight or flight, or it's stressed, or perhaps it's been triggered or something, pleasure shuts off because your body is in survival mode. You can't be feeling pleasure and in survival mode at the same time. Our bodies are not wired like that. So when we know this about ourselves, you're like, okay, I'm super and in survival mode at the same time. Our bodies are not wired like that. So when we know this about ourselves, you're like, okay, I'm super stressed this week. I've got a presentation, the doctor's appointments, somebody's sick, the dog broke his leg, like life, right? When you find your cortisol levels spiking, your stress hormone, how do we manage our stress? How do we regulate our nervous system? And it's different for everybody. Mine is music. I love to read. I love to exercise. The more exercise for me, the better state my mental is and my body in general. And not everybody's like that, but your body needs to do something to bring that cortisol level down. Do we really need to do it? I really feel like I'm good and don't need or want and be just fine without it. Dolly, there are plenty of people in sexless marriages, sexless relationships. And if that is fine with you and you don't really feel like you need it, that's fine. There's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no nothing. I can tell you there are many, many benefits biologically, physically, psychologically, physiologically to engaging in this behavior. And thank you, Miss Maggie, for the butterfly for you. But you don't know. Everybody's different. Alex Ullman told me Kegels help control when you want to finish. Your pelvic floor is very much like a hammock, okay? It helps to keep up all of the things that we need in their correct position. Your bowels, your colon, your bladder, your uterus, if you are a female. So Kegels are, if you have a weak pelvic floor, Kegels are always a great thing. Can they impact when you're hitting the big O or potentially hitting the big O? Absolutely. Absolutely. Here's a question for you with regards to the myth that I was speaking of earlier. And the myth is good schmecks should be spontaneous. Do you wait to feel like you're in the mood, or do you create the mood? Question. Let's put it out there. Do you wait to feel in the mood, or do you create it? Brian, I didn't see your comment. I used to be very sensual and now I don't even like kissing. I don't know how this happened. TJ, thank you for being so honest and vulnerable in here. And I would invite you to sit down and start, get curious about it. There was a before, and now we're in this state of reality in which we don't even like kissing. Ask yourself, why? Is it the feeling behind it? Did something change? Were you impacted negatively by somebody? There's a lot of different things. Do hormones come into play? Before I used to like and need it, but now as I get older, I've learned discipline and don't need it. Question for you, Carm. What do you mean by discipline? And now you don't need? We all have needs. We were born schmexual creatures. That's how we were programmed. And we all have this life force, this energy. They call it schmexual energy that that plays a part in your creativity, in your drive to finish tasks. So it isn't just used for schmecks. How do you get your husband in the mood? Summer, that's a great question. And I would have a sit down chat with my hubby. Okay, so here's the thing with hubbies. Hubbies, male partners, people with members below the waist, if they lose their confidence, if perhaps they've had an experience where their erectile tissue didn't step up to the plate, so to speak, a lot of times they get in their heads, and that impacts a lot of, and their head between their ears, I'm making sure that's clear, that impacts future experiences. A lot of ED problems happen because of something's going on between the ears. I'm not saying all, because prostate comes to play. There's different physical issues that come to play, but a lot of issues with ED are what we've been telling ourselves, or what we believe, or perhaps insecurities that we need to address. How do I get my hubby in the mood? I would have a sit down chat and say, first of all, invite him to a conversation. Hey, honey, is there a time in the next couple of days where we could have a chat? I I would love to talk about us. I love feeling connected with you. I love the snot out of you. And I just want to talk about us. Make the time first, timing, tone, and turf. Make it in a neutral area, not in the bedroom. Please never discuss schmecks in the bedroom. Obviously, when you're in the moment and involved in your in between activities, in between the sheets activities, you're going to be conversing, whatever, however you go about that. But I'm talking discussing your intimate life, never in the bedroom. Is it bad we use toys because he has ED? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When you use those, any type of adult toy to enhance, but here's the thing. I don't want ED to be a continued issue if it doesn't needs to be. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't want that to be used as a Band-Aid, because ED is treatable. So don't sweep it under the rug and just say, oh, we can get by with these adult toys. Please don't do that. Get to the root of the problem, and then you won't have the problem. Does that make sense? It's very much a life force. I don't know if people think of it that way, but it is very much a life force. So Summer, you have a sit down chat, and you're like, when you have invited him to a chat, and then you've come up with a mutual time that works well for both of you, and that sets you up for a successful conversation, meaning that you have time for it, meaning that there isn't somebody, a child you need to go pick up from soccer, or there isn't dinner that needs to be made in 5 minutes. Like, give yourself some time to have a successful conversation, and then say, hey, honey, I've been thinking a lot about us lately, and I know that we haven't been spending as much time together, like intimate time together, and I want to talk to you about it. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Start the conversation. No shame, no guilt, no accusing. Hey, like, we don't have sex anymore, and you never get in the mood. It's super annoying, and I'm frustrated, and I'm kind of over it. That will set you up. Hey, George, how are you? Nice to see you. That will set you up for somebody who is going to protect themselves. They're going to pull out their defense mechanisms. Not going to go well. So be careful how you deliver what you want to say. Make it inviting, non-accusatory, non-judgmental, no shame, no guilt. I don't understand why I don't want to. So it's time to get curious. What is going on with your body, and what is going on between your ears? Is it due to hormones? Is it due to one of the hormones in particular, the cortisol? Is it due to your relationship climate? Are there resentments? Thank you for the populars. Appreciate everybody tapping and sharing the screen and just showing all the love. I appreciate it. Are there perhaps prescription meds that you're on that are impacting your libido? All too often, we don't think about relationship climate in that something needs to be repaired. Thank you, Miss Maggie, for the greeting hearts. I appreciate that. And the budding hearts and the super populars. Win Maggie. Miss Maggie's going crazy. Thank you, Maggie, so much for the go populars. So it's time to get curious. Really, like, have a sit down chat with yourself. What is going on with me? When is the last time I really felt in the mood? What has changed? Jay, thank you for the follow. What has changed for me? Hey, Dan, thank you for the heart me. What has changed? Have I lost self-confidence? Am I not happy with the way I look? Am I don't know, fill in the blank. So many different things could be happening. Sunflower, thank you so much for the heart me. And thank you for the club cheers, Maggie. So you little sneaky people, you didn't answer my question. So I'm going to go back to it. Hey, Sunflower. Do you wait to feel in the mood, or do you create the mood? Somebody did say create in here. So maybe I have kudos to one person in here who had some courage. Let's say put either wait or create. Hola, how are you? Thank you for the populars. Nathaniel, thank you for the follow. Do you wait or do you create? Or is it a combo of both? I'm a combo of both. Wait, create, combo. I ideally both. Make some plans in between. Thank you, honey, for the little butterflies for you. Appreciate that. Create. So we have a mix of both. And DCC, thank you for the rose. And thank you for the populars, honey. What I would like you to encourage, what I would encourage you to do after this live is, and I'm going to give you some ideas. So potentially, ideally, it's nice to have a bit of both. JJSS, thank you for the follow. Why? Because libido, desire, as I mentioned at the very beginning, isn't always spontaneous. We have spontaneous and we have responsive desire. Spontaneous, we all know what that means. You look at somebody and you're like, let's do this, right? Whereas responsive is, or spontaneous is you're just down to get down like anytime. It's very, very common at the very beginning of a relationship. Long-term relationships, it's nice to have a bit of both, because responsive desire is desire in which you need some stimuli to respond to. You need some stimuli to respond to. And when you get comfortable with somebody and it's been 38 years, 5 years, 2 years, 16 years, whatever it may be, it's nice to be able to create. And then sometimes it's nice to wait and have your partner initiate. But as I mentioned 2 weeks ago when we did our live on initiation, it's nice to have both people initiating. It's important to have both people initiating. Curls, how are you? Hi, Lady Lisa. Thank you for the heart me. It's nice to have a bit of both. So I would encourage you. And even if you don't know how to initiate with your partner, we talked about this before, because this is a big hurdle in a lot of relationships. Hi, Patty. How are you? Thank you for the heart me. People are afraid to initiate. They don't want to look dumb. They don't want to be judged. They don't want fill in the blank. They don't want to be rejected. And if you have not yet had the conversation with your partner in which ways they like to be initiated, and then that conversation is reciprocated, how do you like to be reciprocated? There you go. There's your cheat sheet. You know exactly what to do. My partner likes when I kiss him on the neck. My partner likes when I whisper something in his ear. Easy. Well, how do I know that? Because my partner told me that. They get sick of being denied. A lot of people get tired of rejection. But Big Al, here's the thing. Sometimes, not all, but sometimes there are conversations that need to be had. Example, and I brought this up before. This is a very common thing that I see in my practice. So there's two couples that I'm working with. There's two individuals that I'm working with, a couple. And one is annoyed, frustrated. I always do the initiating. Why does it always have to be me? Sometimes I would like to be initiated, blah, da, 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 da. And the other person's like, what are you talking about? I initiate all the time. You just reject me. And so I get frustrated and then I don't do it for a while. And then the first person's like, I didn't know that you initiated at all. Like, what did you do? I'm sorry I missed it. And this person's like, well, I went by and touched your arm, or whatever it may be. I went by and grabbed your butt, or I had a shower and shaved my legs. I don't know, whatever it may be. And the other person's like, wow, I did not know that was your idea of initiating. That's why communication is so important. Because when we know, our level of understanding increases. When our level of understanding increases, the more opportunity creates itself for time between the sheets. Oh my, thank you, Miss Maggie. If you don't know how your partner initiates, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities. So have that conversation. what's your favorite way to be approached when it comes to intimate time? Oh, I love when you fill in the blank. The other person's like taking notes. Okay. What else? What else? And then you've got 3 or 4 different ways to perhaps entice somebody to be intimate with you, not somebody, your partner, to be intimate with you. It's all about communication. I can't even see this one, but it looks cool. Let's try it. Join butterflies? I don't know. Never seen it before. Let's try it. Okay. Good afternoon. Oh, Maggie, thank you so much for the butterflies. I've never seen that one before. Oh, how cool is that? Thank you, Maggie. Hey, Penny, how are you? Late to get out the door. He's trying to hurry me up that we got to go. Well, are we talking about quickies? Because there's like quickies are never a bad thing, but I just don't want quickies to be replacing every intimate moment, because there's something to be said about that connection and that time it takes to be present and to increase that level of intimacy. But nothing wrong with quickies. How often should couples be intimate? Love that question, Wheezy. Love it. And this is often a myth, right? There's like people out there who thank you so much for look how massive those are. Butterfly wings. Thank you, Curls. Join butterflies. That's kind of a weird name, but I appreciate. Thank you so much, Curls. That number is going to be different for every couple. Julie, thank you for the follow. Why? Because your lives look different. Your relationship is different. Your libidos are different. And I'm talking about from couple to couple, although they are different within your relationship as well. So that's a conversation to be had with your partner. Hey, like what's a good number for you every month or every week? I know I would like fill in the blank. Would that work for you? Oh my gosh, no, that's like, wow, that's like a lot. Oh, okay. So, well, like, what's your perfect number, or what's your ideal number? Oh, well, I'd like, okay, well, how about for 2 weeks? How about we try and meet in the middle for 2 weeks and see if it works? And then in 2 weeks, you have a sit down chat and say, like, how'd that go for you? Well, I honestly I thought that would be too much and I loved it. Well, perhaps could we increase it a bit more? Let's try it for 2 weeks. Or that was a lot for me. I had this to do and that to do at work and the kids and this and that. Like that was just a lot for me right now. Could we perhaps like maybe back down to one less than that? Sure, let's try it for 2 weeks and see if it works. Right? Hey, Tyler, thank you for the follow. Rolling Thunder, thank you for the follow. It's all about communicating and figuring out what works together for you both as a team. Thank you for that, butterfly, honey. Appreciate that. I missed a comment. I apologize. Yeah, Rudy, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fam. If Cookie, my husband and I have our own number, but thank you. I appreciate that comment. You can you need to find your own person that you can do it with 3 times a day. Honey, you need to put your claws away. Let's talk about myth number 2. Honey, not in my life, honey. Not in my life. Myth number 2. If we were truly compatible, it would just happen naturally. Jenna, I know. He needs to be reined in sometimes. The boy doesn't think I can take care of myself. I got claws. He's seen them. If we were truly compatible, it would naturally happen. Myth. Why? Because compatibility does not remove the need for communication. Incredible schmecks. Thank you, Suma. Thank you for the heart me and thank you for the populars. Here's the thing. I want you to really hear this. Incredible schmecks is learned. It's not assumed. It's learned. And that is why it's frustrating to... thank you, Miss Maggie, for the butterfly wings. Those are crazy. Thank you for the heart me. Appreciate that. So not as often as I get before. It's usually in DMs that I get this message. And it's basically, well, I know what I'm doing because I've had this many partners. And I love getting my hands on this comment because that is about the most inaccurate myth or belief attitude that has ever been put on this on the face of the earth. Why? Just because you have had a lot of experience yourself. Leah, thank you for the heart me. How are you? Thank you, honey, for the butterfly wings. Appreciate that. Win, honey, in the chat. Just because you've had a lot of experience, you haven't had a lot of experience or any with this new person. This new person, completely different body, completely different mindset, completely different experiences, completely different baggage, completely different trauma, completely different way that their nerves are laying in their body and the way pleasure is felt for them. I love those wings. Those are so good, aren't they? So, no matter how many... oh, Patty, thank you for the wings. Those are so cool. Those are large and in charge. No matter how many notches you have on your bedpost, whether it is 0 or whether it is 6 million. And I know that I'm being ridiculous, but I'm being thank you, Patty. Win, Patty, in the chat. I'm being ridiculous is because the number doesn't matter. What do they call it? Your body count, which is the stupidest thing on the planet, does not matter. Because every time you enter a new relationship, you're back at square one. You have to learn this new person and this new person's body from head to toe. Blank slate. Curls, I've joined your fan club for 200 days. Love you, Curls. I'm hanging in there. I hope you are well, sweetie. I am, Leah. Thank you so much. So, can we talk about size doesn't matter? Carm. It's funny to me when people, not funny, haha. Interesting to me when people say that. Jenna, thank you for the heart me. Oh, Jarena, thank you for the heart me. Sorry, I squinted and saw that wrong. Nightfall, thank you for the follow. Let's talk about size doesn't matter. I think people say that in general because we're trying to take some of the heat, some of the pressure off our guys, right? Everybody has their preferences. Everybody has their personal preferences. There is for sure an average. Some are growers, some are showers. Like there's so much to be said about the member below the waist. But here's the thing. If it matters to you, it matters to you. But what I love to say to those people that really say, well, it has to be this length or this girth. What I have to say to those people is that you need to learn your body a little bit more. What I do with my clients is we do vulva mapping, we do body mapping, and you learn every inch of your body and what brings you pleasure. Because all too often, it's not the size of the member below the waist. And that is why a lot of women struggle hitting the big O. It's because they don't understand how their body works, schmexually or non-schmexually for that matter. And why? Is because they have not been taught. And they have not been given the permission, although that sounds ridiculous. They haven't given themselves permission to self-explore because there's guilt and there's shame and there's religious beliefs and there's whatever else it is that they're bringing in their little suitcases or big suitcases. Do you agree that couples that are recently married should be more active? No. I think that there is a frequency that is great for you. I do think that the way you go about it Um, you need to be intentional. You need to be learning. You need to be curious. I think curiosity is such an underrated skill in relationships, and that's inside the bedroom and out. Because the minute someone says, well, I know her like inside out, like that, and they use that as their excuse that they don't have to try, or they don't have to change, or they don't have to make an effort, I think that's complete BS. You find what works for you. My husband is not interested in schmucks for 8 years. Feeling sus. So then, Fuzzy, what I would do is it's time to have a sit down conversation and get curious. No judgment, no accusations. Just like an adult conversation. Hey, I've been noticing it's been quite a while. And not to put a number on it, but like, honey, it's been 8 years. And I think that it's time we had a conversation about it. What are your thoughts? What's going on? Deb, thank you so much for the roses. Blue, thank you for the rose. Appreciate you. Back to my comment, like great schmex is not learned, or wrong. Great sex is learned. It's a project. It's an ongoing. Bodies change. Hormones fluctuate. Life throws curveballs. So stay curious about one another. It's learned, it's not assumed. Compatibility definitely gets you started. Skill keeps it going. And I don't mean skill between the sheets. Curls, thanks so much for the hand heart. I mean skill in communicating. I'm doing the penis pump for a year and a half, and now I'm about... I love that. I actually am... I work with a company that sells them, and I can't say enough about them, honestly. When you know how to use them and use it how they were designed to be used, it's very healthy for your erectile health. Very healthy. In fact, North America is one of the continents, one of the only continents in the world that doesn't prescribe them at a certain age in a man's life. And it's not in 50s and 60s, it's well before that. It is a tool that is, when utilized correctly, very beneficial. Summer, thank you for the heart me. Thank you for the heart me. And there's many different kinds. Look at you leveling up, girl. My wife and I have schmecks 5 times a week. Love it. Good for you. And I love that that number works well for you. Congrats for leveling up, curls. Good job. John, thank you for the follow. Okay, myth number 3. The more schmecks you have, the better your relationship is. Wrong. It's not about frequency. It's about quality. It's about connection. More doesn't mean better. Question. Oh, shoot. I'm going to go back to that one. Girlfriend has not dated in years before we met. Told her schmeck's drive is a little... To be honest, her schmeck's drive is a little over the top. Blue, time to have a conversation with her. Time to have a conversation with her. No accusing, no bringing shame or any type of guilt to the situation. Just say, have a conversation, like wanting to know or not wanting to know, but I am interested in having a conversation with you about our schmuck's life. And I understand that you haven't been with somebody before me for quite a while. I'm having a hard time keeping up with you. And I'm wondering if we can chat about that. It's not that I don't love it. It's not that I don't enjoy it. It's not that fill in the blank. And she also could probably benefit from a little self-exploration on her own to help manage that. Maggie, thank you so much for the butterfly wings. Ooh, some comments are getting filtered. Somebody's being naughty in the chat. She could be real. 100% Carm, 100%. And there's no shame at all for him. or for her at all. There's, again, always a HDP, higher desire partner, and an LDP in a relationship. Higher desire, lower desire. But when there's a bigger gap, what do we do to build that bridge? What do we do to perhaps bring us a little bit more on the same page? Because he has every right to say, like, I can't keep up, like it's a lot for me right now. That's okay. That's okay. And that also dispels another myth, in that men are always the HDPs. They're not. They're not. It's about 53% to 47% males having the high desire, and females having the low desire. 53%, 47%. So here we have a great example, and thank you so much for having the courage to bring that up, because it is a conversation that needs to be had, because you are being impacted and it's time to communicate. Is it hard to talk about if you don't talk about your schmeck's life? Yeah, it can be hard to talk about, but that's okay. Because when we give our relationship the safety and the space to have those uncomfortable conversations, that like breeds connection. That makes for a really, really good foundation in a relationship, for sure. And when you consistently maintain that, like, the sky's the limit. Okay, let's get on to, I was talking about more sex equals a better relationship. And again, not about frequency, because here's the thing. You could be having schmecks 47 times a week. I know that's a ridiculous number, but I'm putting it out there. 47 times a week. And it could be the most disconnected, dissatisfying encounters that you've ever had. Disconnected schmecks can actually decrease desire over time. So I want to know, where is your sweet spot that you both feel like super connected, you're on the same page, it works well for both of you? Find it. And that requires conversation. Again, uncomfortable? Yeah. But creating that safe space to be uncomfortable and having those uncomfortable conversations, the consequences of having those uncomfortable conversations are far better than not having them. Let's do a beating heart, since we're talking about all things heart. So yeah, disconnected schmecks, not great for your relationship. And it impacts libido. Remember how I was talking about your relational climate and how that impacts libido? Here's one of the factors here. If you are continuously having disconnected, intimate moments, it's going to negatively impact your libido. Healthy relationship equals conversation, 100%. And there's a saying that communication is lubrication, because there has to be other ways to connect intimately outside of schmecks. Just 100%. That's why I talk a lot about there needs to be a balance of schmectual and non-schmectual touch. Needs to be both. And there are plenty of ways to connect without being under the sheets. You try, but they get avoided. What does that mean, Triple? You try to initiate, but then they avoid you? We're talking about avoiding schmecks today too. So I invite you to hang around and hear that. Silver Scorp, thank you so much for the heart me. Krista from Canada. That's my home country, Krista. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Chris Walker, thank you for the follow. That's cool. I love my Canada people. I love my Canadians. At what age does intimacy die down? Wheezy. I wish you were here last week, Wheezy, or was it the week before? Because we had a member of our audience, or our, what do you call it, our community in here. And how old was he? I can't remember. I think he was in his 80s. And he's not stopping down. He's not slowing down. Thank you so much for the beating heart, honey. I appreciate that. Here's the thing. If you take care of your schmectual health, there shouldn't need to be a number. I can tell you that I have clients in their 70s. I have clients in their 80s. and they're still going strong. Might it look slightly different? Yes. But they are still being schmexually intimate because they want to and because they're taking care of themselves. Your decision to be with someone and they can go nowhere else is your responsibility. Your decision to be with someone and they can go nowhere else. Jimmy, I can't even, Junie? Oh, here's my puzzle piece. 1 second. Do you think that you could reword that sentence for me just so I'm not guessing? What are you doing? Stop. What are you doing? Stop. How do you take care of it? Okay, I need to put my thinking cap on because sometimes I'm not understanding these questions. What are you doing? Stop. How do you take care of it? How do you take care of your erectile health? You take care of your erectile health in many, many different ways, men and women. You are feeding it nutritious foods. You are staying hydrated. You are exercising. That means a little bit of strength training. You are reducing your stress. You're getting good sleep. You're making sure your hormones are balanced. There's so many things you are doing. If you are on prescription medication, you are monitoring that to see if that impacts your sexual health. There's so many factors when it comes to erectile health. Let's play safe, okay? Those are your books about socks. Libido is easily satisfied, but different. That is my book, yes. Speaking of schmex, it's called. And libido is easily satisfied. Well, I think that depends on who you're talking to and how great your connection is with your partner and how regularly you are having conversation about your intimate life between the sheets. Oh, thank you. Snazzy, it's actually a little dress, but I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Hey, Kentucky. So, myth number 4, here's a big one. Are you ready? Are you ready? Thank you, Dan, for the finger heart. Here's a big one. Good schmex means you hit the big O every single solitary time. Jonathan, thank you so much for the heart me. That is the biggest myth of all time. Why? Because when your goal is performance, meaning hitting the big O, pleasure takes a backseat. And when that's what you're focused on, and it doesn't matter whether you are, thank you, Maggie, very much for the little beating heart. I appreciate that. It creates pressure. It creates performance anxiety. It creates disconnection. This leads to ED potentially. So when you focus on pleasure and connection, your chances of hitting the big O skyrocket. Tootie, thank you for the heart me. Pleasure does not equal performance. It does not. And when you are focused on performance, it does not equal or it does not equate to pleasure at all. Stop putting pressure on yourself. And this impacts on premature E. As I mentioned, a lot of times this impacts erectile strength. Stop putting pressure on yourself. My book is on audio, yes. On the big site that everybody goes to buy a lot of things. At some bookstores, it is not on audio, or some online bookstores, it is not. But on the big one, it is. I have not had a chance to do it on my own yet, but it is there. Good schmex is about presence, not perfection. I don't understand the American news on TV, but I understand conversations about love and schmex. Love it. I don't understand what's going on American TV either. So you're not alone. You're not alone. Myth number 5, your partner should just know what you like. I have so much to say about this one. And we kind of briefly touched on it before. Mind reading is not a thing. That's not how we were wired. Our brains were not created to read anyone else's mind. In fact, we have enough trouble with our own minds a lot of the time. So understand that if you think your partner should just know what to do, you are sadly mistaken, and you are missing out on so many opportunities for pleasure, for connection, for effective communication, for conflict resolution, so many things. You're missing out. Communication is intimacy. Unspoken expectations, as we mentioned 2 weeks ago when we did an entire week we did on expectations and how they destroy relationships. Unspoken expectations are premeditated resentment. So if you have expectations for somebody, you will be disappointed. You will be, because most people can't meet our every expectation. They can't. And what follows? Resentment. So if you have some resentment, some anger, some frustration about your schmeck's life because you just think your partner should know what to do, and I can't believe that they can't find this, or they're not touching me here, or they're not doing this. Doesn't everybody know that that's what we like? No, they don't. There is not one place in this society that the majority of us have gone to be educated in this area. The education that was provided for us when we were in elementary school and junior high and perhaps high school, lame. How do I know that? Because I used to teach it. Now the basics were there, was awesome. But did we learn how to effectively communicate with somebody and resolve conflict with somebody, and how to have those uncomfortable conversations, and how our body works, and eliminating shame, guilt, and blame? No, we did not. Maggie, there's those beautiful wings. Thank you, Miss Maggie. We did not. Win Maggie in the chat. If a man touches himself every day, does it cause problems? No, it does not. Here's the thing. Self-pleasure is recommended to maintain and increase erectile health for men and women. Okay. If you are in the habit of, and it is getting in the way of your other activities, if it is getting in the way of you completing your job and being with your family and having fun with your friends and whatever else you typically do, then we have a problem. And then you potentially might need some support. That has happened, does happen. Thanks, Curls, for the roses. But self-exploration, self-pleasure, not a bad thing. Curls, thank you for the roses. Title gifter of the rose, my Curls. Love it. Leah, thank you for the populars. Thank you, everybody, for all the support, the tapping, the shares, the likes, all that. It really helps us get pushed out, because these conversations are important. They impact relationships in a positive way. So thank you. Love from Senegal. Well, hello there. What is myth number 6? Initiating means you're needy or that you're desperate. Wrong. Initiation is very vulnerable. And when you are in a space where you are safe when you feel safe to be vulnerable and you put it on the table for your person, thank you so much for that, heart me. Purse, appreciate that. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that nice comment. When you put that on the table, that invitation to be intimate, that's so connecting. That has a potential to increase the level of your intimacy, that increase the level of your connection, make your bond stronger. That doesn't mean you're needy or desperate. Does it mean that you have needs? 100%. We all have needs. We are all human, pretty sure, in this life. And so we have physical needs and we have emotional needs. And just because the physical needs are like more readily seen, the emotional needs are just as important. We all need to be seen, to be understood, to be loved, to be heard. There's many, to be appreciated. There's many, many emotional needs that we all have. What helps with libido? Glow and tell, have you got all day? Libido is a puzzle. I like to compare it to a puzzle, and every single solitary piece of that puzzle can help impact your libido. What you put in your mouth, what you feed your body, nutritious, libido supporting foods. I've done videos on it. I can do again another live on libido if you'd like. The amount of sleep that you get. There is a sweet spot between 6 and 8 hours where your libido really thrives. It even might be, I think it might be 7 to 8, but a lot of people try and get by with 6 or even less. But your libido does require, it requires sleep. My wife passed. The medication that you're on, the exercise, the way you manage stress. There's so many different things that can impact libido. James, wife passed and have a new partner now. I can't get started now. I have ED. Have you been cleared, like physically? Do you have any physical ailments, like anything to do with your prostate or your heart that are impacting your ED? Because if not, a lot of ED is made worse by what's going on between your ears. Because your brain is your most powerful schmuckshel organ, and what you tell it, what you feed it, meaning the things that you choose to watch, choose to read, choose to listen to, all those things impact your most powerful schmuckshel organ, which in turn impacts what's going on below the waist. It depends on which one, Glow and Tell, and it also depends on what other things that you are taking. I call it your stew, like your med stew, and what else are you taking in there? Like it very much depends. Again, I've done tons of lives on libido and supplements that could potentially help, but with anything that you're going to add to your stew, talk to your doc, because I don't know what you're taking. Nitric oxide is very, very crucial for sexual health. And we produce our own nitric oxide, and we actually, in our nasal cavities, in our sinuses, when you hum, you increase your nitric oxide. So start humming. There are nitric oxide supplements that you can get. Some of them are great, some of them stink, just like with any supplement, because that industry is not really regulated. But if you want to increase your nitric oxide, which impacts your erectile health, your sexual health, you start humming. I do summer one-on-ones with couples, 100%. Yes, I do. Okay, so let's obliterate this belief that initiating means you're needy or desperate. It does not. We all have needs. We all want our needs met. That's why I like to say, like, with little kids, people say it takes a village to raise a child. I like to get rid of that. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes community. It takes a village for us our entire lives, because we have a lot of needs. We have, and our partner can't meet every single solitary need. Nitric oxide is for blood flow, yes. Hum. So that's why it's great to have friends. It's great to have a lot of different people in your community, because if your partner is overwhelmed or doesn't have the capacity to help you meet a certain specific need, go talk to a friend. Hum, 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 100%, James. Like, I talk to my sister probably every day or every second day. She fulfills a lot of my needs. She's my best friend. That takes pressure off my hubby. I talk to my mom. I talk to a lot of people that I hold near and dear to my heart in this community on a daily basis, or whenever I talk. Like, you need people, you need community. Because just because we have needs does not make us needy. Both partners need to feel wanted and chosen. And so, like, that's not being needy. What about being stimulated by feet? That's a really good question. Feet fetishes or being stimulated by feet, the most common. Nothing wrong with that. And that there's so much to be said about your comment, LBC, because communication, this is where communication comes into play. And it's having a conversation with your partner. I love when you touch my feet, or I love touching your feet. There's something about it. It totally turns me on. Nothing wrong with that. Every body is different. Yeah, as we get older, Jarena, our nitric oxide production decreases, just as estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Talk to your doc. And even if you want to reach out to me, I can send you a good place to look for that if you DM me. Thanks, Maggie. Tap, 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 tap. Okay. I did a live on this on Thursday, of which I got a restriction because we were talking about specific things. Myth number 7. You ready? Foreplay is designated to the few minutes just before we jump between the sheets. Myth, 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 myth. Foreplay starts the minute schmex ends, and it goes all the way to your next encounter. And I know I can feel some people going, is this chick crazy? No, I am not. What I would like to encourage you to think about is every single interaction that you have with your partner, from the minute your schmexual encounter ended to the next time that you have another schmexual encounter, whether that be an hour, a week, a month, a day, whatever it may be, you have so many opportunities to maintain that connection, to increase that connection, to be playful, to be flirty, to have some fun, to build that anticipation. That is foreplay. Use it. It's built through tone, attention, emotional safety, daily interactions, that attunement that you have with your partner. And guess what that does? Like, I'm not going to throw my guys under the bus, but I'm going to give you a little tip. The reason why this works so well is because women are ovens, men are microwaves in the schmexual response department. Thank you, Miss Maggie. I appreciate you so much. Joe, thank you for the heart me. Women are ovens. That means it takes us a while to get heated. We need to be preheated. So when you look at foreplay as everything from your last encounter to your next, thank you, Life is Good for the Rose, you have a heck of a lot less work to do those few minutes before, because you're already connected. You're already in a safe state. You're already feeling super, super close. You have a lot less to do. We are talking about myths and avoidance of being intimate. Support increases emotional safety. Emotional safety increases connection. And guess what happens when we have that really good sense of connection? It increases libido. It increases that desire that you have. Thank you for the super populars, Maggie. And thank you for the go populars, Maggie. Eric, thank you for the follow. Shelly, thank you for the follow. So if you are struggling with your desire, your libido, it's not just, oh, maybe I don't find my partner attractive anymore. Maybe we're not just meant to be. No. There's so many things that impact and are a factor of libido. A lot of it's emotional safety, the way you treat your body, exercise, lifestyle choices, physical ailments, prescription meds, supplements, hydration. Oh, there's a lot going on. I always tell that to my hubby. Love it, Sarah. Keep telling him. Hi, Penny. I've got another Canada. Hi, Penny in Canada. Penny, I too am originally from Canada. I don't know if you're there now, but I that's where I was born. So now that we've cleared these few myths, let's talk about what's really happening when people start avoiding schmex altogether, okay? Like, why do they do it? Does anyone have any idea? Let's come up with like a little list. Jacob, thank you for the follow. King Armor, thank you for the follow. MJ, thank you for the follow. Travel lover. Ooh, I love traveling. Thank you for the follow. Why are we avoiding it? Let's come up with a random list. Anyone have any ideas? Why haven't I been excited about Schmex lately? Is it because of the schmurder of a schoolgirl? Stress has a lot to do with it. Absolutely. What we tell ourselves, what we feed it, what we are reading, what we are seeing, what we are hearing. Oh, are you too? I love that. I'm from Alberta originally. Roger, here's the thing about age. People use that as an excuse. If you are taking care of your body, age plays far less of a role than we give it credit. Give it credit for. Don't use your age as an excuse. Take all of the information that you know and are learning and want to learn about libido and support it, because there's so many things that you can do to impact your libido in a positive way. Anxiety and depression, 100%, Deb. Mary, thank you for the follow. Poor communication, yes. Then I call that your relationship climate. Like, what's happening in your relationship right now? Do you guys stink at communicating with one another? That impacts your libido because that impacts connection. Yes, could be hormone stress, everything. Yes, and that would be, Kimberly, your relationship climate. 100% pressure, yes. So there's lots of different reasons why people avoid it. And I'm going to break them down into, how many did I do? I think I did 6. I know I did 7. Okay. I broke them down into the 7 most common reasons that I see that people avoid Schmex altogether. Emotionally disconnected, huge one. Spartex, thank you for the follow. I didn't even see that. Okay. One reason that people avoid Schmex. Emotional disconnection, like that was mentioned. Feeling unseen, feeling unheard, feeling unimportant, not chosen, not a priority. How can my wife and I actually be excited? There's so many things you can do, Josh. So many things. Start talking about it. And interestingly enough, when you have Schmex, your body wants it more. Been married 3 years and haven't even had Schmex or consummated our marriage. It's frustrating. Charlie, I have questions. So if you would like some support and would like to have a conversation, DM me and we can have a little chat. We can have a little chat. Say, I will, you know what? I could make that an entire live if you want to talk about that on Thursday. Sunny knows. Thank you so much for the heart me. Who avoids better? A lot of people. That is why I have my own practice on helping couples. It's not the only reason I help couples with issues, but emotional disconnection is huge. Resentment builds over time, and when you have resentment, there's a massive breach in connection, potentially a massive breach in trust. Hey, Money Pool. And that impacts desire, that impacts libido. When there's a lack of appreciation, that impacts libido. Ziomara, how are you? Thank you for the heart me. Disconnection outside of the bedroom very much shows up inside the bedroom. Sure, Carm. Hey, Carm, thank you, Maggie, for the beating heart. Carm, can you send me a DM and ask me what you want to know, and then I'll talk about it. I've been with my husband for 26 years, and we still have the most. I love that. My kids are my life. I love my kiddos too, so I very much relate to that. But I love that. And here's the thing. That was a learned behavior. That's consistency. Thank you for the hand hearts. That's intentional. That is, it's not, I like to equate a relationship with a garden, and that very much is the same with Schmeck's life too. You just don't plant the seed. You need to cover it with nutrient dense soil. You need to water it. It needs sunshine, perhaps some fertilizer. It needs to be weeded, meaning we need to talk about the problems that we're having and get rid of them, because that allows for whatever you planted, great communication, a fantastic relationship, whatever it is, like that allows it to thrive. Is twice a week normal? Yes. It's Scotty. Whatever works in your relationship is normal. If that's twice a week, that's great. If it's twice a month and it works, that's great. There is no normal of which what makes a relationship thrive. It's what works best for you. They are no longer together, then maybe they just stay, not feel alone after that. Better. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Is it up to the hubby to decide when to get intimate? I hope not, Wheezy, because that's not a very two-sided relationship. Women's needs are just as important as men's needs. That wouldn't fly in my house. It perhaps flies in people's houses and it perhaps works for them. Doesn't fly in mine. I very much am interested in a relationship that's a two-way street. My needs are as important as the other person's needs, and that's very much what I teach and educate in my practice. It is consistent. We have learned a lot together and keep growing. And there's the kicker right there. My kids are my life. It's that growth mindset. It's that I haven't learned it all. I am learning every day, and I will continue to learn until I'm 6 feet under or my heart's no longer beating, right? If that's what works for you, once in 10 years, that does. If that doesn't work for you, then there's perhaps some things that you could do to change that number. Yeah, a number doesn't matter as long as it works for you. If you're finding that it is causing you stress, or you want a different number, you want it more, you want it less, that's a conversation needs to be had. I want to in my head, but not when the time comes. My body doesn't. Say that tells me a lot. And that tells me that there's some things happening in here that are very much impacting what's happening down there. And so if you would like some support in that, you let me know. The ones that say appreciate me for my curves, but guy needs to be ripped and making money. You're looking in the wrong spot. Pull the trigger. If that's what you can consistently attract, because that's not the mindset of the majority of women. I think there needs to be respect on both sides when it comes to bodies. I want to go down on my wife, but she is self-conscious. That normal? 100%. It's Scotty. That's so common. And I would invite you to have a chat about it with her. And I understand that your want and your desire is to do that with your wife. And it's her decision is probably coming from a couple different things. A little bit of fear. And fear comes from not knowing, right? So, and it also could potentially come from what she has been taught since she was a young child. Like, there's a lot of shame and a lot of guilt when it comes to certain things surrounding, or all things surrounding schmecks, depending on who you speak to. Girls don't do that. That's dirty. We've all heard it. So, yeah, I would have a chat with her when she is, ready to talk about it, and let her know, like, if you're not comfortable now, how about let's research it together. Let's figure it out together. Let's figure out some ways in which, like, all too often people kind of get in their heads because they don't know what's going to happen. And if that has not been a regular practice for her, and she doesn't know what to anticipate, or she doesn't know, maybe she's heard some potential things that have happened, or that it's incredibly sensitive, or whatever it may be, it's super. Thank you for the heart me, and thank you, Curls, for that. That is one of the most vulnerable places that somebody can be. And you have like zero control. If it's somebody that doesn't like to feel out of control, that comes into play too. I would just start talking about it. I would just start talking about it. Because when we allow fear to make decisions for us, we miss out on a lot of opportunity. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Hi, Blacker. How are you? Nice to see you. And the more we talk about it, the more comfortable we get. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate that. And for the populars, Blacker. The more we talk about it, the more comfortable we feel and the more willing we are to try something new. Thank you, CM, for the populars. And thank you, HTTPS, for the heart me's or the heart me. And I saw something else there. I don't know what it was. Felicia, thank you for the rose. And CM, thank you for the popular. So I think there's a lot of education that is lacking behind a lot of different things. And what we don't know often is a motivator for us to find out, or else it keeps us stuck in a box where we're not comfortable, right? Dan, thank you for the roses. And thank you for the lightning bolt. That's what I saw. And even perhaps if you have experience in that department, you could walk her through it and ask her what she needs if she is willing to try it. Tell me what you need from me. Do you need me talking my way through it? Do you want to tell me what feels comfortable for you, and I'll only do what is comfortable for you? Like, there's so many different ways around it. But yeah, we don't ever want to put somebody in a position that they don't want to be in. So obviously, because consent, I don't care if you've been married for 50 years, you still need, somebody to be open to the activity. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that after having conversations and making her perhaps feel more comfortable, we'll change your mind. Monica, thank you for the follow. It's me. Thank you for the follow. JS, thank you for the follow. Okay, number 3, pressure and performance. Why people avoid schmecks. Number 3, pressure and performance. Oh, we forgot number 2, didn't we? Oops. Sorry. Thank you for the heart me, Monica. Number 2, psychological and emotional barriers. This one's a big one. Stress, anxiety, overwhelm, body image issues, past trauma. Thank you so much for the heart me. And Debs, thank you for the roses. I appreciate you. Fear of rejection. You cannot relax into intimacy if your nervous system does not feel safe. And there's another one about the oral there. Like, if somebody doesn't feel safe because it is a very vulnerable thing and perhaps they've had something happen in the past, again, it's just having the conversations and understanding your partner better. Thank you for the shares, Tony. Because your nervous system, like I mentioned at the very, very beginning, our nervous system is either in fight or flight or rest and relax, rest and digest. Can't be in both. So what the goal is when you're being intimate with somebody is you both be in rest and digest, so you can then allow those pleasure sensations to be felt. You cannot feel pleasure when you are in fight or flight. Thank you, Vic, for the ice creams and your awesomes. Appreciate you. And for the heart puffs. Your body cannot do that. Pleasure takes a back seat when you're in any place of fear, overwhelm, stress. Hey, thank you for the heart me. Thank you for the cake slice. Oh, that's a new one, Vic. Thank you. Love it. God is amazing, Charlie Harper. Okay, number 3, pressure and performance. Here's another one. Like I mentioned earlier, if your focus is performance, pleasure takes a back seat, because your focus is not on connection. Your focus is not pleasure. Your focus is performance. And all too often, when our focus is performance, our ability to hit the big O decreases substantially. When schmecks is expected and it's an I have to versus an I want to, pleasure goes down. Girls, thank you so much for the forever rosa. Appreciate you. Your body doesn't like to feel pressured. It gets flooded with cortisol, and it does not allow you to feel pleasure. It does not allow you to reach the heights of which you were able to reach. What about being barefoot? Nothing wrong with that. Although, here's a funny statistic. The chances of hitting the big O are higher when you wear socks. Isn't that hilarious? And that's not for everybody, but that's for many people who find themselves, if they have if their body is on the chillier side, if they are cold. Socks. Who would have thought? Isn't that funny, Maggie? Wait, repeat that? Okay. Your chances of hitting the big O are higher if you have socks on your feet. Yeah, isn't that funny? My kids are my life. Yeah. Yeah. And again, if you're like a hot box and you just stand in sweat and you're just very, like, my husband is a furnace. I call him a furnace. If you are a furnace, probably not going to impact you, because you're already nice and warm. But if you are a body that runs chillier, that's definitely me. I'm always cold. Socks, statistically speaking, increase your chances of having the big O. You're so welcome. Could be. Life's a beach. I don't know. He's not somebody that is on my dance card to talk about. So could be. I'm not going to give anybody attention who treats people like that. So that's not what I'm here to talk about. So okay. So when we have duty schmecks, as opposed to I want to, I'm excited to. I think we had, what is a live from like 3 or 4 weeks ago? We talked about feeling obligated to, right? When you feel that obligation to and you give in and you have intimate interactions with your partner because you feel obligated or feel like you have to, that impacts your desire over the long term. So I think I asked everybody to do a spit shake when we were in here 3 weeks ago, and saying, if anybody is in a relationship and they are in that space of where they have duty schmecks, like I call it, don't do that anymore. Don't do that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. We're having conversations with our partner. We are doing things that are impacting our libido in a positive way and supporting our libido. And we're not doing it because we feel like we have to. We want to do it because we want to. And we feel safe and we feel connected. Thank you very much for the heart me. Number 4, another reason why people avoid schmecks. No, Matthew. In fact, I think that's how the majority of us were brought up, right? There wasn't a lot of research behind it. There wasn't a lot of knowledge behind self-pleasure. We now know, after years and years and years and years of research, that is very healthy to do. It is incredibly beneficial for your sexual health and your erectile health, both men and women. It is not morally wrong. There is nowhere in the Bible or in any religious book that says that is wrong. It is crazy to feel I'm more connected with my wife when we are cuddling her. No, that's not at all. That's not crazy at all. That's, in fact, that makes sense. Stephen, thank you for the heart me. Lisette, hey girl. Hey Matt, thank you for the dolphin. Appreciate that. And Breeze, thank you for the heart me. HTTPS, thank you so much for the you're awesome. I want it just as much as my hubby wants it. We are both open to trying different things. And that is why I did hear him. Sorry, there's a puppy snuggling underneath my feet. Dan, thank you for the populars. And that is why it works so well. Because you are both open to trying new things. And why? Because you put in the work to create that safe space, that emotional space where you both feel open and willing. And when we are open and willing to be vulnerable, we are open and willing to try new things. And that very much is going to impact our libido in a positive way. Firecracker, thank you for the follow. So let's talk about why people avoid schmex. Number 4, repeated negative experiences. When there has been pain felt during the intimate deed, when one has felt rushed, pressured, feeling used instead of connection, if there is a lack of satisfaction, if people are dissatisfied, there is going to be more of a chance that someone's going to avoid it the next time. Part of that being, remember how I mentioned your brain is your most powerful schmexual organ? Our experiences impact our future experiences because we are thinking about it. We have certain beliefs. If we've had a negative experience where there has been pain felt, and here's just a little side note. If anyone is experiencing pain during this act, that's a no bueno. Like, that should not be the case. So please reach out to me or please talk to your doctor and we'll help you get that resolved, because we are into healthy schmexual encounters and healthy schmexual relationships. That does not mean pain. So when like I was mentioning before, like the body keeps score. And when we are remembering things that have happened to us, we are going to very much, that is going to impact what happens in the next schmexual encounter, because we are bracing for that pain. We are waiting for that pain to happen again. And your brain is so powerful. It's going to impact natural lubrication. It's going to impact hormone balance. It's going to impact cortisol levels. Cortisol does not help in the schmex department at all. So let's set us up for some success here in the intimate encounters. The body remembers what the mind tries to ignore. So there's no way of getting around that. Oh, I'm missing some here. What if you just don't care about it and would be fine? That's awesome, Purple Hearts. If you are in a position where that is not a priority to you and you don't care about it, I love it. That's fine. Does role play spice up a relationship? Easy. That's a great question. If that's something that both of you are interested in, and perhaps you give it a go and it's totally fun, I say absolutely. If somebody is not quite on board, talk them through it and see if they would be willing to give it a try. 100%, Wheezy. Number 5, the initiation imbalance loop. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. If one person is the sole initiator and often gets rejected, that is going to increase the schmexual avoidance. If one person stops initiating because they feel unwanted, that is going to impact and increase the avoidance. If one partner feels pressured all of the time by somebody who is consistently initiating, they perhaps might avoid it more. That's why communication is so important. I am not a fan of expectations. I am not a fan of, obviously, rejection. And those can be completely avoided if you have conversations with your partner. Is it okay to let your partner have another schmexual partner, even if you get jealous? Ramon, that is a very personal question. I have worked with couples who want to invite somebody into their relationship. And let me tell you, it's a process. You have to have a foundation that is rock solid. You have to take some time. Sometimes it's months that takes to prep for these types of relationships, because you have to have boundaries in set. You have to have those rules. You have to understand what happens if somebody crosses a line. What is okay? What is not okay? From the very smallest of things to the most obvious things. We unpack it all to set them up for success. And here's the thing. The chances of a relationship succeeding is quite small. 87% of relationships that attempt to have somebody else come in fail. 87. And that is because they didn't have a properly prepared, strong foundation going in. And if you are somebody that gets jealous, that's something that you need to talk about and you need to work through. It's not something I could do. I am not willing to share my partner or invite somebody in. I find that a very sacred and special place. That's not to say that a lot of other people don't. And that's fine. There's no judgment here. I just encourage you to make sure that you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, because emotions come into play, and then expectations come into play, and it obliterates connection. Swish, thank you so much for the heart me. How are you, Swishy? I communicate but still rejected. Your sunset. Swish, thank you so much for the roses. Here's the thing about when I hear I communicate but I get rejected. I want to know more. I want to know your delivery. I want to know your timing. I want to know your tone. I want to know what your body language looks like. I want to know, is your partner an effective communicator, and what are they doing? What are they bringing to the table? There's two people that come to play here. And I want to know your definition of I communicate. Like, what does that look like to you? And what does rejection look like to you? And are you setting each other up for success? Oh, thank you, Swish. Thank you for the reposts. Swishy. I bet it would hurt so bad seeing your partner way more into the third person in a way you've never seen. Purple hearts, that happens. And that is why we have to have everything set in stone. Okay, thank you. It's a process. Driving down the road in arrest, not in bed. I'm not sure what that means. What do I do if I've been married for 30 years and haven't had schmecks in almost 6 months? Ticker, I love that. Because, not that I love that for you, because that I love that you had the courage to put that in here, for one. It's a very, very common comment that I get. And it's with support, and with it's going to take some invitations to have some conversations. Ticker, I want you having conversations with your person that are vulnerable. It's not coming from a place of accusation or judgment. I don't want you coming in hot. I don't want you coming in frustrated. I want you inviting your person to a conversation. And like a warm invite. It has to be a time that sets you both up for success. Okay. Swish, I will check and let him know. That's funny. It has to set you up for success. So timing, tone, and turf. Do it on a neutral zone, meaning I don't want it done in the bedroom. I want it done not in somebody's particular office. If that's your space, make it a neutral zone. Make it a neutral zone. When you've done that, time, tone, and turf. Timing, tone. Your tone matters. Like I said, no judgment, no accusations. No, I want you coming from a vulnerable place, sharing your experiences. You know, I've noticed lately, honey, that we're not connecting like we usually do, and I really miss you. I love connecting with you. Thank you, Maggie, for the crystal dreams. It makes me feel close to you. And what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the way our relationship is right now? Because I can tell you, like, I would love to get back to that. I thought it was fun. It was a different way of exploring each other, and I felt really close to you. Because when you come from that perspective, like I notice, I love connecting with you. I would love to be closer. You're less likely to be met with defense. When you come to the table, we haven't had sex in 6 months. Like, that's a joke. And I'm really getting annoyed with it. In fact, like, I'm super fed up. And if something doesn't happen, I'm going to make some decisions around here, right? Yeah, so that won't go over well. And ticker, I sleep down the hall. Lots of couples do that. In fact, a lot of successful, thriving couples do that. So that does not concern me. It's the conversations that need to happen. Hi, Ashley. Should you marry someone if you have doubts in a 50-50? We've been together for 2 years. We're happy. What are your doubts? It depends on what your doubts are. I mean, marriage is like, it's just a piece of paper on one hand, but yet it's like also a business. Legalities come into play. Truth or myth that Schmex can help headaches? 100% truth. What you release, it's Scotty, is a painkiller that is far more potent than a lot of the OPIODSs that are out there. 100%. That's why I make the joke when people say, well, I have a headache. Perfect. This will get rid of it. I communicate while driving in public. I've told her Schmex is how I know we are connected. Your sunset, that's 100% accurate for a lot of couples. And it is, in fact, at the top of the list for how, and I don't mean to bring gender into this, but it is at the top of the list of how like males feel connected to their partners. And it doesn't have anything to do with the fact like we're schmexual objects or all they want is schmex. No, it's like an emotional connection that they feel through schmex. Biologically researched and backed. Clarence, thank you for the follow. TA, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fam. Life is good. Thank you for the rose. My husband sleeps. Oh, dang it. My husband sleeps in the living room. I sleep in bedroom. Charlie, if that works, that's great. Like a lot of couples have issues sleeping. Somebody has a CPAP, somebody snores. Like I know sleep is like, I don't function well without sleep. And so if the puppies are keeping me awake, or if hubby is congested, or his sinuses are affected like by allergies or something, I am not the same human. A lot of couples sleep separate. My husband doesn't snore every night, so like we're fine. But it impacts couples a lot, and sleeping separate. In fact, a lot of home builders now are doing 2 master suites for that very reason. Nothing wrong with that. I know a couple couples that actually have 2 different homes. I wouldn't advise that, but unless there are a lot of other factors at play. But a lot of couples sleep separately. 3 months, and we used to do it daily. So then, Jose, it's time to have a chat. Do you know of any good couples retreats? Depends on what you're looking for. If you want to DM me and tell me exactly what you're looking for, if I have something that matches, I can give it your way. I can send it your way. Because there's so many different types of retreats, and depending on where you are, how far you want to travel, it also helps period cramps. 100%. 100%. Some people it helps with migraines, some people it does not. Okay, the next one. Oh, and I just wanted to say one last thing. I had one little point about the initiation and balance loop. When one person is the initiator and one person is not the entire time, you get into this dynamic of what we call the pursuer versus withdrawal dynamic. And it's a pattern. We are very patterned people. And If you get into that pattern, it can be a challenge to get out of it. Can you? 100% you can get out of it, but there has to be awareness there, and there has to be some intentional work put there. Loss of emotional safety is the next one. And what I mean by that is that if your partner feels judged, criticized, dismissed, or unsafe emotionally, libido takes a hit. And then we don't want to engage in schmexual activity. Therefore, we could perhaps even avoid it. Here's the framework again. When we feel supported, our emotional safety increases. And that emotional safety includes us being vulnerable. Schmex is something incredibly vulnerable. If we don't feel safe to be vulnerable, we're not going to want to have schmex. When we feel supported, seen, understood, appreciated, safe, we feel connected. Bless you. When we feel connected, guess what happens to desire? It increases. And the last one is really life. Kids, work, phones, routine. When we neglect our schmex life or our relationship as a whole, it's rarely intentional. But man, the impact is huge. It's a silent killer. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. A silent obliterator. And I didn't anticipate this entire, this is only half the live that I wanted to talk about. So maybe we will continue this on Thursday. And we will talk about what actually creates a good schmex life. We can talk about some practical takeaways, some things that you can actually take away and implement into your relationship and make an impact Thursday. First person to tap box top left gets 30-day super fan. Maggie put up a super fan. How cool is that? Thank you so much, Maggie. Thank you for the heart me life is good. And thank you, Kenneth, for the share. Who got it? No, I just had a hair in my eye. First person to tap top left box gets a 30-day subscription. Michelle, thank you so much for the follow. Chris, I watched your live for 400 minutes. That's awesome. I don't see it, Maggie. All my kids are grown and living on their own, so we are free to get intimate. And he doesn't want to. Charlie, I have more questions. And that's a sit down. That's an invitation to get curious into perhaps what's going on with him as well. Thank you, Josh. You're awesome right back. Without accusing or being judgmental. Right? Thank you for the heart me. Okay, so let's talk about Super Box Vet Stacy. Congratulations, Stacy. You got Maggie's super fan box. Thank you so much, Maggie. That was so kind. TM, thank you for the follow. Congratulations, Stacy. And thank you so much, Maggie. That was really kind. Okay, thank you, Charlie. Sarah, thank you for the roses. Okay, so let's continue this conversation on Thursday. I'll be back Thursday, probably 3:30 or 4 PST. We go a little bit later on Thursday. And thank you so much, Maggie. Thank you, everybody, for all your taps. Let's try and get to 150 before we get out of here. Let's just try and do it in the next 5 minutes. Thank you for all your taps, all your shares. And my mod squad, I appreciate that. I didn't see too many yahoos in here. It's very important to me to have this community be a safe place for people to ask questions, for people to feel safe, to be vulnerable. So I appreciate my mod squad very much for keeping it safe and respectful in here. Thank you so much. Stacey, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate that. And with regards to Thursday, we will continue this conversation and give you some tangible tools to walk away with. If you are on your own this afternoon or this evening, please do something kind for yourself. Weezy, thank you. If you are with somebody else, please do something kind for them. Nice conversation on topic. Thank you, MJ. I appreciate that. Anthony, thank you for the follow. Chanel, thank you for the hot cross buns. Oh, that's cool for Easter. I have not seen those little guys. That's cute. Appreciate you. So, we're at 140. Come on, let's go. I'm always alone. My girlfriend lives 3,000 miles away. Kenneth, long distance relationships they're tough. Maggie, thank you so much for the bouquet. Not quite as nice as yours, Maggie, but that's a beautiful bouquet. Thank you so much. And thank you for the cake slice. There's so many things that can be done in long distance relationships, especially now. Use every single solitary thing at your advantage. Biatch, thank you so much for the heart me, and thank you so much for the you're awesomes. There's so many things you can do. You can have little dates and take your phone with you and do video chats, and there's no better time in the world to have a long distance relationship than it is now, because of how connected you can be and how intentional about connection you can be. Let's talk about adding another person next time. Okay, what do you want to know? Thank you for the freestyle, Chanel. You got a lot of, I love it. We only have 5,000 more. Tap, 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 tap. I know I've been there. Thank you, Chanel, so much. I appreciate that. We're very connected as far as spiritually, and we communicate well, but she's going through a lot of, and then you fell off the cliff. Thank you for the follow. Murtada, thank you for the follow. And Jewel, thank you for the follow. Chanel, thank you for the hot cross buns. Those are really cute. Hi, Coach. It's been a day. We'll chat out. Oh, no, Stooks. Should be okay. If somebody's going through a lot, you know what? Just I invite you to ask her, how can I be supportive to you right now? What do you need from me? And then to the best of your ability, if you have the capacity to do it, do it. Michelle, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Stokes, thank you for the heart me. Sure, it'll be okay to add a third person. We briefly talked about that, GMA. Not necessarily. It can be incredibly successful, or it can blow up in your face. The statistics show that 87% of couples fail at this because they don't prepare their relationship well enough. So if you there's a lot to be done. There's boundaries, there's rules, there's discussions to be had about what is your definition of acceptable schmecks, what is okay, what is on the table, what is off the table. So there is so much to be done. You just can't one day wake up and say, oh, I'd like to add a third person, and then do it that night and expect it to be successful, because emotions get involved and jealousy and all that kind of stuff. You need to be prepared. We did it. 154. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Want to join here again. See you soon. We'd love to have you back. Truthful, I don't think I'm good enough. I like to see her pleased. GMA. You know what you do then? You don't need a third person. You use what you've been given. And one of those things is your mouth. What brings you pleasure? What do you like? Do you like this? Is this okay? I heard about this. Would you like to try this? You're not supposed to know how to please somebody. It's their body. It's not yours. That's what communication is for. Tiana, thank you for the follow. Thank you so much, Josh. You too. Please don't be so hard on yourself and that you think you suck in the sack because you don't know how to please somebody. If you haven't had that conversation of how they feel pleasure most and what they like, what are their turn-ons, what are their turn-offs, you haven't done your job. Time to do your job. No blame, shame, or guilt at all, but you need to do your homework. Chris, thank you so much for the heart me. You don't need a third person if that's not something that excites you. All you need is you. Yeah, I'm in California. She's in Connecticut. Kenneth, that's quite the distance. But you know what? The miles don't matter. The intentional connection does. Long marriage and I want a divorce. I'm preparing for it. How do I say no to Schmecks when he wants to? Do you want to reach out to me and we can have that conversation over a DM? Because that requires a little bit of time and I want to give you the time that it deserves. So all you need to do is just DM me on here. Go to my page and push message, and then you and I can have a chat. Okay, everybody. I will see you Thursday. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I had a great time today, and we didn't get any restrictions. Woo woo! one of the best tools you're ever given, GMA, is curiosity. Use it. Use it. Curiosity in a non-threatening, sort of gentle way. Get curious about your partner. I would love to learn how to please you. I don't know how, because I'm not you. Like, that's your body. I know how I feel pleasure, and I am certainly excited to tell you about it and explore that. But I don't know about you. So please help me learn. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of your evening, and I will